I'm Rob, and this is a Barefoot gaming review of Marshmallow Melee in VR. So get this out of the way right away, this game is super cute. The little marshmallowy guys, they're adorable. You pick them up with your controllers. I'm getting ahead of myself. So what do you do in this game? I'm gonna call it kind of an arena combat game where you don't directly control the characters, as in your button movements don't really control what they do, you just aim them. So you're kind of like their guide. It starts by having you pick two of these little marshmallow peep type fellows. Once you've picked your combatants, you grab them with your controllers and you can toss them into the ring. The next part loads up, you'll see them standing to your right, and you see their stats. You see how much health they have, how much gold they have, and this is something that plays more into it later as you go. Levels are all procedurally generated, and your goal is to get as high up a tower as you can get. You do this by tossing your combatants into the ring and having them fight. Now, like I said, you don't control them directly. What you do is you control kind of where they are. You have special power-ups, for example, that you can get if you hold on the Vive, I believe it is the center button. On the Oculus, I can't remember which button it was, but again, you hold one of the buttons down, and if they fight enough, they'll actually get like a super move that'll do a little bit more damage. While you're fighting the bad guys that are kind of in the combat arena, you'll see emeralds drop, so you want to grab those by holding in your trigger and just pointing away. I found I didn't have fantastic control of them individually if you're doing more than one. So as you get more and more fighters, you can toss them all in at once, but you kind of select one and you drag them off to the side. But it's hard to do that while there's combat going on, and that's, I guess, what the challenge of the game is. Now, aside from the emeralds and stuff that drop, there's also boxes that drop. When they attack the boxes, break them open, you can get power-ups yourself to influence the fight that's going on. So for example, you'll get an explosive that you can just grab with your controller and toss it into the ring, and it only affects negatively the bad guys and gives your guys a better chance of continuing the fight and possibly winning. If your fighter dudes fall off for whatever reason, they end up back to your right, and you can either leave them there or you can toss them back in. But if they die, they're gone. As you progress, you'll have the opportunity to buy different weapons. So maybe you're going to want to equip one guy with a bow, one guy with a sword, or change what kind of damage, and you can see all the weapons have different options as well. So to your right, when you look at your characters, if you hold your pointer at them and select the weapon, after a couple of seconds it starts glowing. You can remove the sword if that's what they're holding and give them a bow, or vice versa, or change their weapons because you have a better sword or you have a better something else. And I think that kind of covers the gist of it. I talked to the developer and he said more stuff is coming. This is still early access. He still wants to implement little mini bosses and such. He wants to add more environments, and the environments do kind of change. And there are of course hazards inside of the arena itself. So you might have a grate that lowers and raises back up, and when it lowers, it's an exposed pit of lava, and when it lifts, you're safe to run across it, keeping in mind that you're always grossly outnumbered. So I'm gonna get down to the nitty-gritty on this, and let's do a review. Out of 5, how many marshmallow peeps out of 5 would I give this? I really struggled, and I know a lot of people are not gonna like this, but I give it a 2.5. I give it a 2.5 because the game felt really grindy to me. Now, everyone has a very different interest in games, which is fantastic, and it's not a wave shooter. This is something different, which I wholeheartedly applaud. I love the fact that developers are creating stuff that we haven't played before in VR. That's fantastic. However, what I found was my characters were, because they were being so outnumbered, I kept having to have them run away, which is fine for a little bit. But if you're spending 5 to 10 minutes on a level just getting them to run away and hoping one shot before they get close enough and start doing damage, so you're just running the entire time hoping that you can let go for long enough that they'll fire one shot, one arrow, one swing before they die, it felt grindy to me. That's what I'm saying. This is something that I can't throw piles of hours into myself. Mind you, I'm also not a Super Smash player, and there are mass amounts of people that love that. Maybe I shouldn't compare it to Super Smash, because in a game like that, what you're doing is you are directly controlling the characters, and here you're only controlling their direction more than anything else. It's hectic enough that you don't really have the ability to control them to really say, like, I just want those two on that one and this guy over here. It's a lot of juggling, and again, that's part of the challenge. It just felt like a grind to me. There was one level where I had 2 guys with bows, and I just ended up making them run in circles, letting go so they could shoot, run in circles, letting go so they could shoot, run in circles, let them go so they could shoot, and hoping that eventually a power-up would get dropped so that I could help them by freezing everyone on the arena. This being early access, this is something that will be worked on, and it looks really cute. It's not something that's just been thrown together. I applaud the developer. You did a fantastic job, and it's something that's unique. Love it. Love that part. But as far as the gameplay itself, I'm sitting at a 2.5 out of 5. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm done the review for now, and I'll talk to you again real soon. See ya.